I was scrolling through TikTok last night, and I saw something on my For You page that brought back a memory so vivid, I felt like I got flashbanged in the comfort of my own bed. Gravity Falls has been trending again for, various reasons, especially with the release of the Book of Bill. And I was reminded of something that was buried so deep in my subconscious that it felt like I was woken up like a sleeper agent. Just 5 little words to ruin my night completely. Dipper goes to Taco Bell. Hi! I'm Deezy. Let's talk about fanfiction. Fanfiction is a staple to any fandom out there. I've always been a big believer that the more obnoxious, the more toxic, the more disgusting a fandom is, the better the art will be. But to get to the diamonds, you gotta shovel through all the shit first. So today, I'm asking the question of what shit stinks the most. I'm gonna be reading through some iconic fan fictions from different platforms and different various authors, and I'm gonna put them in this fun little tier list thing, because why not? So sit down, shut up, get your lunch, and if you're listening to this while driving, remember to brake for goth girls. God, I wish I was illiterate. Yeah, so basically today, I'm going to be ranking some of the worst iconic fanfictions there is. And I'm gonna sprinkle in a couple I think deserve a spot on here as well. As a kid in the early to mid 2000s, one of my favorite bands growing up was none other than Panic at the Disco. I used to be such a big Brendan Urie fan, it is not even funny. Now these days, I'm more of a Ryan Ross girl, if you will. So guys and ghouls, if you read the title of this video and you know those 2 names, you already know where this is going. Allow me to introduce you, if you haven't heard of it already, to the ever-iconic Milkfic. The Milkfic was written in 2011 on LiveJournal, and it's very famous for being what one would call a shock fic, aka the thing you show your friends after you read it and you want them to be just as traumatized as you are. Long story short, it's about Brendan Urie giving Ryan Ross an enema using milk. So without further ado, let's read this terrible writing and give it a rating. I couldn't find the original fanfic, but I do have a copy of it here on Wattpad for us to read. Warnings, enema, choking, rim job, BDSM relationship with previously established safe words. Ryan was kneeling in the bathtub, a towel under his knees and another under his hands. His head turned as he craned his neck to watch Brendan working. The younger boy swirled the spoon around in the over-large bowl before tapping it against the rim and laying it on the counter. You know it'll cool down a little once I get it in the bag, but is that good? Brendan bent over next to the tub so Ryan could slowly dip 2 fingers in the bowl, nodding once. It's fine. Brendan nodded again, reaching out to stroke Ryan's hair before standing back up and returning to the sink, where all of the equipment was spread out. The hook was already hanging from the shower curtain so Brendan could hang the bag as soon as it was full. Go ahead, take the plug out, baby. His voice was soft, gentle, and start with your fingers. It was the gentlest of their darker interludes. No name calling or hair pulling or punishments for noise of pain. It hurt enough on its own, was degrading enough on its own. Brendan didn't need to add anything to that. I don't like where this is going. I do not like where this is going. Brendan felt a small tremor run through his body as he heard the soft moan come from the bathtub. He knew the other boy had just extracted the plug. He glanced up at the mirror, watching the boy set the glass plug on the edge of the tub next to the bottle of lubricant. Ryan picked up the bottle, desperate to fill himself as he opened it, dripping some of the lubricant onto his fingers and rubbing them. It was cold to the initial touch, but warmed up as his fingers moved. You're so hot like that, baby, Brendan purred. Ah! And then his fingers were poised, resting against his entrance before pressing them in. He was already loose from the plug, so it was an easy intrusion. Oh. Okay, so Ryan Ross just put some fingers up his ass. Good to know. Don't sound so disappointed, the boy chided softly. You can keep your fingers in for a second. He almost added a soft but stopped himself. Brendan leaned down, reaching for the bottle of lubricant, letting himself hover over Ryan for a moment, his breath tickling the back of the boy's neck. Just think about everything I'll do after, he whispered before straightening back up and slicking lube across the tip nozzle of his own fingers. Let's get to the milk part of this. I don't want the foreplay. Give me the milk. Give me the milk. Ryan's head nodded a fraction of an inch, his breathing already labored. He gave a small squeak as the milk started slipping into his body again. Please, I can't. He shook his head, the tears coming out for real now. Brendan clamped the nozzle again. I can't, Bren, please, I need to, please. Oh, it keeps getting worse. He's shitting the milk. Oh no, fingers, more fingers. Oh, I don't like that they keep calling Ryan Ross the younger boy. Why is this so long? I love you too, Rye. Brendan waited until he stopped shaking before he got down to turn the lights and set the alarm on his phone. Then he crawled back into bed and held Ryan until he fell asleep before he got up to clean the bathroom and put the equipment. They didn't even put the equipment back? Huh? I'm done. You know what? I actually really don't want to read this anymore. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this at C tier just because I want us to have a good middle ground for disgustingness and horribleness, and I think this is a good middle ground. I think this is a good starting point. Just knowing what else we're reading in this, solid starting point. So, seeing as we are on the platform of YouTube, I thought it would be very appropriate to throw in a YouTuber fanfic in here, or maybe a couple. But whenever I think of YouTuber fanfiction, one always comes to mind, and that involves the internet's favorite British duo, Dan and Phil. The next fanfiction we're gonna read is called The Hat Fic. And in the fanfic, Philip Lester, aka Amazing Phil, buys a hamster. Nice and wholesome. And then Dan, aka Dan is not on fire, Daniel Howe, kills said hamster, and things happen from there. Yeah, let's get this over with. So originally the hat fic was published on November 21st, 2012 on DeviantArt. And my favorite tag on this that someone put is, yes, it's the f***ing hamster fic. Now, I've never actually read this fanfiction personally, so I'm excited to see exactly what the hell we're getting into. Hey Dan, can we get a hamster? I always wanted one, but my roommate never thought that we would look after it. Phil, we've talked about this. You wouldn't look after it properly. You can hardly look after yourself, he retorted. Should I do this in a bad British accent the whole time? I think I will. It wasn't really in an angry way, but he never even took onto account that I was older than him and I had lived by myself before him, so getting a hamster wouldn't be that bad. I decided not to argue. Okay, so this is from the perspective of Phil. Dan was stubborn and wouldn't change his mind. I was going into town later on anyway, so I needed to get changed. I put on my usual of skinny jeans and a top on. I finished getting the few pieces of food that Dan and I needed and was heading back to get the bus when I walked past the pet shop. I couldn't resist but walking in, and I saw a cage with a small, fluffy, black and white hamster in the corner. Okay, I'm done with the accent, sorry guys. I looked at the price, £10. It was too small and cute to say no to, so I bought it and a cage. I walked out just as my bus arrived. I paid my fare and hopped on. I couldn't stop smiling. My hamster was one of the best things I've ever done. Or that's what I thought. Oh, I don't like this! I got home and shouted to Dan. Dan, come and see what I bought. He bounced into the hallway of the front door. What's up? I raised the cage with the furry ball curled up in the corner again. The expression on his face changed from a sweet and innocent smile to a sick and twisted one, with an evil glint in his eye. Oh, I love it. I was completely wrong about saying no to getting one. He sounded genuine, but there was something about the way he said it that made me feel uneasy. So, what's it called? Dan asked. Can we name him Striker, please? I've always loved that name. I don't really know why. Sure. His reply was cold and harsh. What was wrong with him? I shrugged it off and went into my room. It was only 9, but I was tired and felt a bit ill. I pulled my PJ bottoms on and slipped into bed. I woke up during the night, my body freezing cold, and I was unable to move. I opened my eyes and they were wide with shock. I looked down and I was naked with ropes tying me to a chair. And in the corner was a sinister looking Dan that was also naked. Ew. Why are they both naked? Morning, Sleeping Beauty. I was wondering how cold the room had to be for you to wake up. His voice sounded so fluffy and innocent, but the words coming out weren't. He was only wearing his fluffy brown hat. He pulled it off to reveal a small black creature sitting in it. Striker! What the f was he doing? I don't normally swear, but the situation was so confusing and I was terrified. What was Dan gonna do to me? Dan? What are you doing? Why am I tied up? Don't be scared, Phil. We're going to have some fun with Striker. He cackled menacingly and showed off his erect member, making mine start to rise. The f***? Oh, kinky. He put the hat down. Striker still sitting in there and faced it with his length, the perfect height to aim onto it. Dan, what are you doing? Please stop. He stormed over and gave me a rough kiss. Everything will be okay, I promise. Dan grabbed a gag from behind me and put it over my mouth, looking over to me as he did so. After a short time, but he didn't stop there. He kept on going until the hat was filled up to the top. Is he drowning the hamster in? Is he drowning the hamster in? Dan grabbed the hamster's head and pushed it down into his own sperm. After 5 minutes of his sick games, he pulled it back up dead. He snapped the hamster's head off, the neck bone shattering and making me mumble. That was what the fuck? What is he? Why would he do that to the hamster? Oh my god, he's making him drink. Oh no. Oh no. He began to pour the hamster blood mixture into my mouth, only for me to realize he had put my poor Striker back in there, head and body. The fluid tasted disgusting. Let's skip down a little bit. Are you ready? He asked me. a sense of impatience groaning in his tone. "Yes, Dan," I stuttered out, and he quickly rolled me onto my front, his hand placed on top of my back, pinning me down, the hamster's head in his other hand and nearing my rectum. I know where this is going. Oh my okay, this is definitely writing. Somebody made a choice to sit down and write this and then read it back and go, yeah, let's post that. I am gonna finish it though. Okay. Animal stuff, I don't with the bodily fluids and the animal. The sperm hamster blood combo. I can't do it. I can't do it. He rammed it in with no hesitation, and a burning sensation spread through me. For the rest of it, he used his manhood to push him in. I wanted to say stop, but he wouldn't. I know it. Ew! Finally, it got too much and I screamed out, "Stop!" I looked back at Dan, who just grinned. "Come on, Phil, I know you can do better than that." He forcefully went in further. Not quite all the way, though. "Dan, please, I'm begging you to stop. It's so sore." I don't know about Phil in this fanfiction, but me personally, if I say stop, you better stop. And good lord, do not put a hamster in my ass. Let's go to the last, couple sentences. I woke up to find Dan with the hamster's body and head in his mouth, chewing I woke up to find Dan with the hamster's body and head in his mouth, chewing violently, bones snapping and crunching under his teeth. He had blood dripping from his chin. He crawled over to me and I licked it off for him. He grinned as though I read his thoughts and he finished eating. And every month we buy a hamster. I don't even have to say anything to say F. To whoever wrote this, I hope you have a really bad day. I hope you stub your toe on the nearest coffee table. And I hope you go to jail. I hope you go to Azkaban or some shit, okay? F for that shit. Alright, so this next fanfiction was in between this or the Heatwaves fanfic from the DSMP fandom, and I decided I'm not even gonna touch that. So we are not strangers on this channel to the brony fandom, so I thought it was really fitting to go find a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic degenerate fanfic writing. And I stumbled upon something called Cupcakes. And this one I'm going into completely blind. So let's check it out and let's see how it ranks on the tier list. The air was warm, the sun was shining, and all of Ponyville was just having a glorious day. The town square was bustling and crowded, busy ponies were making their busy way through the streets, and all pony folk seemed to have somewhere to be. All except Rainbow Dash. Her place was in the sky, freely tore through the air, speeding one way and the next. She buzzed the treetops and raced the wind. The Pegasus swooped over a schoolyard, much to the delight of the children. Climbing several hundred feet, she dove, going as fast as she could, seconds before hitting the ground. Her wings flew open and she took off back into the clear blue. Rainbow Dash felt alive. Then she remembered she had somewhere to be. She was supposed to meet with Pinkie Pie in 5 minutes. She'd gotten so caught up in her exercises that she nearly forgot. "So, you ready to get started, Rainbow Dash?" "I've got everything all ready," Pinkie said. Dash psyched herself up. "You betcha, Pinkie. What do you got planned? We gonna prank somebody? I got a couple of good ones I've been thinking about, or maybe you got some stunts I could try, or maybe making cupcakes," Pinkie happily announced. "Baking?" Dash was disappointed. "Pinkie, you know I'm not good at baking. Remember last time?" "Oh, that's not a problem at all. I only need your help making them. I'll be doing most of the work," Pinkie explained. Dash shrugged and popped the pastry in her mouth. She chewed a bit and swallowed. "Not bad." "Okay, now what?" Dash asked. "Now," Pinkie informed, "you take a nap." Yo! She's gonna kill her. "Pinkie, what's going on? I can't move," Dash said in a worry. "Well, duh, you're tied down," Pinkie chided. "That's why you can't move. I didn't think you needed to be told that." "But why? What's happening? I thought you said I was gonna help make cupcakes." "You are helping, you see. I ran out of the special ingredient and I need you to get more." "Special ingredient?" Dash was now breathing heavily and starting to panic. "What special ingredient?" Pinkie giggled and responded, "You silly!" Okay, this is mainly just kind of a torture fic, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna throw this in D tier. Nothing impressive, nothing scary, just very gross. I've got a couple more of these to do, but if I'm gonna be real honest, I really don't want to read these alone. Frederick, would you read them with me? Guy in the basement? Oh, that guy! I'll get him in the morning. It'll be like reading a pamphlet over tea, right? Then we can just eat him after, right, Fred?
Alright, why am I here?
Why are you here?
I don't know.
We're gonna be reading some bedtime stories!
I'm not excited for this.
We're gonna be reading some fan fictions today because I feel like you deserve a nice, relaxing bedtime story.
Fanfictions of what?
We're gonna be reading the best that the internet has to offer.
Oh.
So this next fan fiction involves Prisk's favorite place in the world to go eat, Taco Bell. So I figured, as great of a friend as I am, I had to ruin his favorite restaurant for him. Let's read and rank Dipper Goes to Taco Bell. Starting out with Dipper Goes to Taco Bell.
Why that one? Why that one?
I think you'll like it.
I don't think I will. I do like Taco Bell.
I think you'll like it.
You know, those tags are crazy. You know those additional tags right there?
Sibling Taco Bell. Dipper Goes underage.
Maybe we shouldn't read this one.
93,000 hits. That's fucking crazy.
5,000 words.
Jesus.
This is a fucking novel. I don't know. Do you want me to rate them on how uncomfortable they make me?
Yeah, I think that would work.
That would work? What if one of them... Never mind.
What if one makes my dick hard? What if I get... It was a normal day in Gravity Falls, Oregon. Well, as normal as Gravity Falls gets anyways.
Oh.
Dipper Pines was
as normal as Gravity Falls gets. Sorry, keep going.
Dipper, are you gonna keep your nose buried in that strange book of yours all summer?
Actually, it says wired.
Where?
Keep your nose wired in that strange
Wired?
You gotta read the typos and everything.
Oh, the typos and
I'm also
everything?
gonna be judging them on grammar.
Okay, fair enough. Are you gonna keep your nose wired in that strange book of yours all summer? You gotta go out, have an adventure, Mabel exclaimed.
Exclaimed.
He was looking at a cryptogram that said... Dipper was officially stumped. He could not figure out what it meant, and it seemed very mysterious to him. Grunkle Stan is gonna take us to the diner for lunch, Dipper, Mabel exclaims.
Yep, exclames.
Exclames. Dipper, however, was not in the mood for the diner. He was publicly humiliated last time he went, and he thought...
What? Wait, what do you mean he's publicly humiliated? I don't remember that episode.
I think this is referencing like the Manly Man episode where Dipper's like, I
gotta go be a man, you know?
Oh, okay.
I think that's like after this canonically. Mabel, I don't want to go to the diner. Dipple. Dipper said solemnly, I want to go somewhere else. But there really is nothing else in town, unless you count the Taco Bell near the forest, Mabel replied. Taco Bell? Dipper's
Taco
ears.
Bell? That's literally me. Taco Bell?
Taco Bell, Grunkle Stan questioned. Why'd you want to go there? It smells like the bathroom when it gets clogged. I had my heart set on pancakes, Mabel moaned. Listen, you can go to the Taco Bell if you want, but don't come crying to me when you smell like expired onions. Fine, I will, Dipper said harshly.
There's a gun right under this camera that you can't see.
Should we skip forward a little bit? Oh, we've only got tacos, the cashier interrupted. Okay, I guess I'll have a taco then, Dipper said. Diaper said.
Diaper goes to Taco Bell.
What did you say? The cashier yelled back. I said I want a taco, Dipper yelled back. Okay then, the cashier said. Then they went in the back for a few minutes. When he came out, he was carrying Dipper's taco. That'll be $1.
No. That'll $1.
$1 is crazy.
I hate this so much.
What, you don't love this beautiful work of fiction?
You're right, 10 stars.
Listen, this is Great Gatsby.
This is that'll $1.
That'll $1, the cashier said. Dipper gave him the money and went to sit down at the least grimiest table. He bit into the hot, spicy, juicy taco filled with thick, pure meat, mild, tantalizing black beans, and sour, fluffy sour cream.
Sour, fluffy sour cream.
Hell of a description. He enjoyed the single bite that perfectly cooked taco and still tasted it in his mouth after he swallowed it. But as he was about to bite into the second time, he felt a churning movement inside his body. Something that he had felt often. Uh-oh, Dipper said, then rushed to find the lavatory. Man, that really went through me, Dipper said to himself.
Yeah, it did.
Like, one bite in, he's like, oh.
Whoa! That is not Taco Bell, that is nuclear waste.
Taco hell, baby.
How the f did it happen that fast?
For some reason, the bathrooms were hidden in a corner, far from the counter, and far from the table he was sitting at. It's always in the corner!
They were hidden in the corner.
The toilets were hidden in the bathroom.
They were behind these doors with walls around them. How can I find it? When
he walked in, he found that the bathrooms were surprisingly clean for a fast food restaurant anyway. And Dipper found this suspicious. All of the stalls were full, and no one was using the urinals. But right on cue, someone walked out of one of the stalls. Dipper didn't pay much attention to who was walking out. He was wearing all black and had a plastic bag with him. Dipper just had to go. Unfortunately, he didn't make in time. He checked his pants and found the worst of all. Diarrhea, Dipper said. Yeah. He was about to leave the stall with one L when he noticed a bulge in his pants.
What?
He touched the bulge, and once he touched it, he knew exactly what it was. He found himself completely aroused after touching it, and started to do it some more. Eventually, he was ready to hardcore.
What are you reading to me? I feel so scared.
I'm reading you a bedtime story.
I don't want to go to bed anymore.
This is foul. Why do you hate me? Is it because I make you read stuff like this with me?
You just told me Dipper open a Taco Bell bathroom. What do you mean, why do I hate you?
We're not done yet. We're just getting started. This is just the tip, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
He took off his blue shorts and his soiled underwear, revealing his medium-sized but not small. The tip was bright and red, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Dude! Dipper started to yank his Johnson.
Harder and faster.
I read ahead. I should have read ahead.
By now,
Help me.
he couldn't stop. He couldn't leave now and miss out on this great. He wanted to taste the. He scraped a handful of it off the stall and put it in his dirty, wet mouth. You ever tried that?
No!
He sucked it like a lollipop he got at the county fair a while back. It tastes a lot like.
It tastes a lot like it too.
Like
what? What do you mean?
What do you mean it tastes a lot like it too? And he kept on performing fellatio on himself. Using the word fellatio in a fanfic, you deserve to go to jail.
You can tell they want to sound smart because they also used lavatory.
Yeah.
You can tell they're trying. They're trying to get you. They're like,
trying.
yeah, I'm a pretty intelligent Dipper fanfiction writer. My shit is top notch.
My Dipper porn is better than your Dipper porn.
You didn't even talk about him shitting in a Taco Bell bathroom. This is bad.
As he was stimulating himself orally, he accidentally fell over onto his side. He broke from his on the floor. The floor was covered in so much of Dipper's that he actually started to make a snow angel in the or a cum angel. Should we switch to a different one?
How much more is left?
A lot.
When does Seuss come in? I think we need to finish this one.
You think we need to finish?
I think we need to finish this one. This one's going in F tier. I feel like I need to be paid to read this.
So you're telling me this isn't your favorite fanfiction?
No. Well, no. The grammar was bad. The story makes no sense. Dipper's way too much. And he's 12, so I feel like I'm even reading this.
Fair enough. So the next fanfiction we're going to talk about today is something I stumbled upon on AO3 when I was looking for fanfictions for another video of mine that will never see the light of day. And fun fact, the video I was making was supposed to be my first and magnum opus video on this channel, but because of recent events, I don't feel particularly comfortable posting it. Let's just say I may have spent a good 2 to 3 months of my life working on that video only to throw everything out. But the one thing I did save was this fanfiction from Kermit's Left Nut. Let's read and rank some fanfiction about YouTube's sweetheart, Mr. Jimmy Beast. So the next one we have is one I'm actually very excited to read to you. It's called Mr. Beast by Kermit's Left Nut. My favorite tag is just Mr. Beast jerking his little beast. Jimmy rolled over in bed, trying and failing to ignore the pressing against the seam of his jeans.
Okay, already we're at a bad part. He's in bed and he's wearing jeans?
Exactly.
He would. He seems like the kind of man who would sleep in jeans.
He exhaled sharply as the fabric of his clothes slid across his skin. It seemed like every nerve in his body was lit up with need. He finally gave up, sighing in relief as he popped the button on his pants and yanked them down his thighs. He trailed his hand down the soft hair under his navel and moaned quietly. He started slow, swiping the pad of his thumb through the and using that to slick his. He built up to a rhythmic pace. Up, down, twist here, squeeze there. Sooner than he had even realized, he was thrusting up his fist as he stroked himself.
Mr. Beast, put it away! Why is it so detailed?
It's just so vivid.
Why is it so... I hate it, because I can see it. Like, it's I'm getting flashbanged with mental images of it, and I want to kill myself.
We're not done yet! Little gasping curses escaping his lips as he barreled closer and closer to the edge. He brought his free hand to his mouth, shoving it in between parted lips and covering it with his spit. He brought it back down, finding his entrance between his cheeks and worked a finger. He pumped his fist in time with the thrust of his fingers and moaned, loud and reckless as he writhed in his bed, his body arching to get a better angle. Please, he whined as his into his fist. He stroked himself through the aftershock, but pulled his finger out of his ass, wiping it on the bed sheets next to his thigh. When the pleasure bordered on overstimulation, he finally stopped and laid there for a moment, panting into the dark quiet of his room. So did you like it?
I think I prefer Dipper Goes to Taco Bell. There was something about finds the entrance between his cheeks that made me want to throw up.
In conclusion of all of this, there is some gnarly fanfictions out there. I believe that free will is such a beautiful thing. But when you use your free will to create stuff like this, I personally wish nothing but the worst for you. The fact that some of you had the idea to write something like this in your head, sat down, took the time to write it out, read it back and go, yep, that looks good, is deeply concerning to me. I am going to include the links to these in the descriptions, but I'm also going to include right now a big fat trigger warning because a lot of these are disgusting and violent and very graphic. There's not a lot that you could sit down and show me that I'm going to gag at, you know, but whoo, that hamster fic nearly got me. The hamster and combo is deadly to me. But overall, there's so much horrible work out there in fanfiction, and to create that level of disgust, you have to be a pretty talented writer overall. So kudos to these people for making me disgusted. I know not all of them are great people who wrote these, so I'm not trying to idolize anybody. Don't come for me. If you guys like these more unscripted videos, please feel free to let me know. I might try doing some more of these. In the end, this was our final ranking of fanfiction. Long story short, I hated this. And I hope you hated it just as much as I did. But for now, this is all I got, or whatever. Bye!
Okay, so you know how I said I wasn't going out earlier because I was sick? Well, I lied. Something really fucking weird is happening and I don't understand what's going on and I'm kind of getting a little bit scared and I haven't gone to a doctor about it, but, my roots are turning green. I don't know why they're turning green. And I told Prisk about this on, like, Monday morning and he was just like, die over it. So I died over it that night. And look at it. Green! It just keeps growing back. I am literally so angry over this. I don't even think you understand. I am losing my mind right now. I am losing my mind. Why is my hair green?